of the original content coming your way in the form of never seen before wrap-ups. I know, very original. Alas, a month has passed. I read some books. Without further ado, this is what I read in the month of May. Is it May? Who knows? Time is a social construct. It's all good. I shall start off with the books that I don't have physical copies of because of one reason or another. So first off, I read A Fire and Stars by, probably should have looked up the author's name before, but here we are. Okay, so this was quite popular on the booktubes. Last year, 2 years ago, what is time? I don't know. So it's a fantasy novel about this princess who has to marry a prince from a different kingdom, except she falls in love with his sister. And it was fine, but also didn't really blow me away. I think for the most part, and I say this with the love and adoration of someone for fanfiction, but just read like fanfiction, you can tell that the romance was the main focus of the book, which is fine, especially because a lot of people, loved it, and you don't often see a female-female romance be the focal point in things, but it's just not my cup of tea. I normally prefer my fantasy to be very politically based, and I love me a good, well flashed out magic system. And I guess the intent was here for those two things. It just kind of didn't happen, and I also kind of felt like the characters weren't very flashed out. The love interest, the sister of the prince, she loves horses, right? So she takes care of horses. So her nickname is Mare, which is so cheesy. It's so cheesy. So I don't know. I would be tempted to read stuff by this author in the future. It just wasn't blown away. I then read a graphic novel, because of course I did, and it was called Princeless, Volume 1, Save Yourself, by Jeremy Whitley. This is so adorable. The artwork vaguely reminds me of Lumberjanes, and I love, adore Lumberjanes. It's so bright and saturated, and it's so beautiful, and it's basically about this princess who is locked in a tower, guarded by a dragon, by her parents waiting for a suitor to break her out. And she's like, you know what? Fuck the patriarchy, fuck gender norms, fuck you all. She saves herself, she makes a deal with the dragon, so the two of them just go out there saving other princesses. It's just so much fun. I love it very, very much. And yes, I do recommend that. I haven't seen lots of people talking about it, and I feel like they should. It's like my new favorite thing. So you might know that this film adaptation of a novel is coming out in August. It's called Crazy Rich Asians, and it's based on the novel by Kevin Kwan. So I really wanted to read the book before seeing the film, and I remember a lot of people talking about the book, as they do, ages ago. I think mostly what pushed me towards it was Joss from Scribbles Reads, because she loved the series back in the day. So I was like, I should just, bite the bullet. The library has it. It's all good. So it basically follows Rachel and Nick. Rachel is an American Chinese little lady. She's a economics professor. Nick is like a history professor. They work together. They've been dating for a couple of years now. Nick is originally from Singapore. He has to go back for the wedding of his best friend since childhood. It's all good. He invites Rachel to come along for the wedding and also to meet the family. So she doesn't know anything about the family. She doesn't know anything about where they're going. And she finds out that Nick has been fucking Singaporean royalty all along. And all these people are so over the top. And the writing is so witty and so funny and so engaging, and the characters are so fleshed out, and at first it's a little hard to keep track of them all, and you have to take a leap of faith that you can eventually kind of care about them, but it's so ridiculous and over the top, and it's like Gossip Girl with Asians, except kind of better. I love the characters so much. I'm so invested in everyone's journey that I requested the second book in the series as soon as I finished this one. And now I'm waiting for the third one because it's amazing. It's the best. I love it. I'm so excited about the film. I then finally read another booktube favorite, Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. My sister loves this book, so finally read it. After her pushing me constantly. People at work love this book. Everyone on the internet loves this book. I don't know what the consensus on Mackenzie Lee is these days, because I feel like she's very hit or miss, but I really like this book. I'll link down below my review for an extensive list of content / trigger warnings, because whoo boy, that's a lot. So basically this is a historical fiction novel following this teenager, Monty, privileged white man, you know, nothing new, who is going on his tour of the continent before taking charge of his family's estate or whatever. And tagging along are his sister, Felicity. The second book is going to be about her. She's ace. I love her. She's the little spunky sister, an intellectual. I would die for her. And Percy, Monty's best friend, biracial, so you can just think about all the depth that the story has to get. It gets real at times. Who Monty is actually in love with. So, you know, that sweet angst. Love it. So the book is super fun. I enjoyed the journey and the plot and whatever else. But I hate Monty with a passion. I think he's the embodiment of the privileged, self-centered white male. I can stand him at times. He's so oblivious when it comes to the struggles of everyone around him, and he's just in his own head thinking about himself, and it's not my favorite. Hopefully he grows on me some more in the future. He does grow throughout the book. It's just, oh, he's so white. He's so white it hurts. Then another book that I wanted to read because of the film is On Castle Beach by Ian McEwan. So I was tempted to begin with because the film stars Saoirse Ronan, who's my favorite, as nothing else but an asexual character. So I was so here for it. So it's basically this tiny, I guess I would rather call it a novella than a full-fledged novel because it's so short. It's less than 200 pages, and it follows this young couple in Britain in the 60s on their wedding night, and I guess they're both like virgins, and obviously the lady is a sex-repulsed ace. It is just, it's so profound, it's so well written. I think Ian McEwan is like so good at creating these very fleshed out characters, and you see their internal turmoil, and you see the contrast between their kind of internal lives, the way they process things, the way they think they're acting, and then the way they think the other perceives it, and the way they actually act out as opposed to internalizing things. And it's just super smart. That being said, if you're going in for the sex repulsed ace representation, it gets graphic, my child, so do keep that in mind. And also, it's not the most fun book per se. Like, it's smart, it's compelling, but it's not that, fun. So I don't know what else to say. I don't even remember where I saw this, but I saw it and I got it from the library. So this is Anxiety is Really Strange. It's a graphic novel-y type thing about anxiety. For me, it's not the most, revolutionary thing, because I knew like everything in it, but I did see a lot of Goodreads reviews saying that it's a little info dumpy. It's kind of, there. I don't really have many more feelings about it. And then I read Beneath the Sugar Sky by Shannon Maguire. This is the third book in the Wayward Children series. First one being Every Heart a Doorway. You probably heard of it. And can't see much about the plot because it spoils stuff from the previous ones. But it follows this character that's connected to a different character from the first book, and it's so good, it's so perfect, it's so, whimsical. There's no best way to describe the series because it's so weird and quirky and there's a lot happening. But I guess the word that can be applied to every single installment is whimsical, because it's so quirky and fun and full of imagination. I love it so much. The world building is so complex and so interesting, and that's one of the first things I appreciated about the series, because you don't have just one world that's being built. You have all these worlds, and you see some more of them in this book. It's so good, and the characters, I love them all, and yes, please do read this series. What would life be without some feminist nonfiction? Am I right? I finally read Misogynation by Laura Bates. I love Laura Bates. I read her previous books, Everyday Sexism and Girl Up, a while ago, and I was so excited when I finally saw this one because I had no idea it was coming out. So I bought it months ago. It took me a while to have the bright orange spine staring me down until I finally picked it up, and then I did, and I loved it. I feel like a bit of it feels repetitive since I've read Laura's previous stuff, so I'm familiar, but it's still a really engaging and thought-provoking and terrifying read, because sexism sucks, you know what I'm saying? And I appreciate that it's very inclusive and intersectional. Graphic novels. First of all, we have Wonder Woman, The Lies by Greg Rucka. This is part of the DC Universe Rebirth thing. My friend Rachel got this for me for my birthday. Thank you, Rachel. Love my fans. And we've been trying to buddy read it for ages, and then kind of happened, but not really. I love this. I'd say you do need some prior knowledge of Wonder Woman and stuff. Rachel was a little lost, even though she has some knowledge of it. But I think it's so good. I love Greg Rucka's characterization, and I love the introspection in this, and I love the angst, and I love the tension, and I love the character dynamics, and I really, really hope that they take some sort of inspiration for Wonder Woman 2 from this, because Greg Rucka gets the characters and gets the feels, and I love this. Then some more graphic novels, because what else would I ever do with my life? I read A-Force Volume 1. This is about a group of superheroes that are just women trying to defeat a big bad, and I love it. I love them all so much, and that's it. That's all I'm saying. Just read it. It's super fun. The artwork is beautiful. The storyline is really cool, and I'm just a fan. Then, also part of the DC Universe Rebirth, I read Batgirl and the Birds of Prey. Again, so many bad reviews on Goodreads. I love it. I think the characters are all very compelling. I think the storyline is super compelling. I think the artwork is beautiful, and I would die for all of them. Real good superhero female team up. Would recommend. And then I read House of M. This is the complete collection, volume 1. I don't even know. So basically, this is set in a world, or rather, it follows this world where the X-Men and the Avengers are kind of trying to save Wanda from herself, because she's a bit unhinged. And then things happen, plot. And Wanda ends up creating this kind of alternate reality where they all now live, where superheroes aren't exactly kind of a thing, where it's just so complicated. It's like an alternate reality type storyline, and I love it so much. I initially picked it up because a bunch of reviewers and stuff had said they would like to see this in the phase 4 of the MCU. So now I'm so compelled. I know it's hard because no X-Men in the MCU, but if they wanted to take some things out of this, I think it could be good. It could be good. Someone fought me on Twitter because of it, so it's just my opinion. You don't have to agree. It's fine. So this is everything that I've read in the month of May. I shall see you later with some other videos. Let me know if you've read any of these books or what your favorite book of the month was. And I'll go finish my coffee because it's probably cold by now. Thanks so much for watching.